Hi, it's Kane Hodder, Jason from Friday the 13th. You're watching Slash and Cast. Keep watching, or I'll kill you and your whole family.
What's going on, horror fans? Welcome to another episode of Slash and Cast. My name's Riley, that's Nick, and today we're kind of stepping away from horror to a degree. We're leading a little more gothic fiction with a brand new Netflix original series, A Series of Unfortunate Events. Now, A Series of Unfortunate Events, I mean, the movie came out many moons ago.
2003?
I believe so. Jim Carrey in the role of Count Olaf. This time we get Neil Patrick Harris in the role of Count Olaf, and listen, man. Better than Jim Carrey.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He's funny, but in a creepy way. Okay, you know that type of funny, but you don't laugh. I don't know. It was such the whole show in general is such a dark comedy, and I remember just being caught off guard about how dark it was because I was naturally comparing it to the movie rather than comparing it to the books. I've read all the books as well, and it was way darker. And Jim Carrey has a tough time going that dark as it is. We saw him in the number 23 where he's pretty dark, but this is how I see Count Olaf rather than Jim Carrey's portrayal of it.
Right.
Now, it's someone you love to hate. Exactly how Count Olaf is supposed to be. Someone you love to hate, you want to hate, and it's an antagonist that you need in a show like this.
Yeah, really.
Which is Neil Patrick Harris is the exact reason that this show is so successful. I could promise you that.
Yeah.
Then again, he does have a solid backup cast with Violet and Klaus Baudelaire being covered by Melina Weisman and Louis Hayes. Fantastic job. Really, they were even better than the ones in the movie.
Yeah.
Then again, dude, Melina Weisman is identical to the chick in the movie. Just saying.
Sometimes it's hard to see anybody else in the role, and I really feel that way. It is hard to see any other kids be in the role they are. Does that limit them, though? Can they expand out of this creepy gothic horror type genre just the way they are playing these smart, weird kids?
I would say this is a role that this is a type of show where if you look at it, it's not like, oh, that's like Harry Potter, for example.
Yeah.
Like Daniel Radcliffe is screwed. There's nothing he can do. He's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a role that really takes him away from the rest of their career, but it's a hell of a way to kickstart it.
Yeah, I believe she's 13, he's 15. She's been on Supergirl, and that's it. That they haven't done anything else. Who knows about the baby? It's probably the baby's first role.
But really, though, it's literally impossible to be more accurate to the books, I would say.
Yeah.
They were just fantastic. They fit it so perfectly. Like you said, I couldn't really see anyone else in that role. Just perfect. Perfect for what it needed to be and very accurate to the books.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there are some cast members that do stand out, and I think are a little odd, and Mr. Poe is one of those, played by K. Todd Freeman. He's good, don't get me wrong. Very talented, but of course Mr. Poe is supposed to be a weird guy and a very, obliviously missing these obvious cues of who Count Olaf is. That's obvious, but I don't know, I found Mr. Poe, to a degree, fairly annoying, and if there's a downfall of the series, I think it is Mr. Poe, and I don't even think it comes from an acting portrayal. I think it comes from a writing portrayal of Mr. Poe.
Right.
But it is that way in the books. I don't know. He just seems so much more annoying in this, and it didn't bother me in the movie. The movie is fine, but the show is just, it seems, I don't know. I just didn't really like him, I guess.
Yeah.
But, regardless, it is a decent portrayal, and people obviously are, buying in to, they like Mr. Poe a lot.
Yeah.
Someone that was fantastic, and I was so glad that he decided to do this, was pull into a Lemony Snicket character, and played by Patrick Warburton, all right? Come on. Listen, there's Morgan Freeman, and then there's Patrick Warburton.
Again, someone that you can't see anybody else in the role.
Absolutely.
He just fits it so perfectly with the dark undertone and his distinct voice. It just works perfectly.
Right. You needed someone in this role that had that recognizable voice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I couldn't think of anyone else better.
I mean, if it was just a voiceover, still, I don't know if it would be as effective as him being there.
Right. Yeah. Him. That's what was like. I found much more creative than the movie.
Yeah.
Is having him actually there, and especially because there is a point in the books where we find out more about Lemony Snicket and his involvement in the story.
And even in the show.
True.
I mean, in the first couple of episodes, really, he's just the narrator. And then towards the end of this first season, you start to see more of his story. You see him looking out the window. These guys look him and trying to, get after him. And then he's interacting with the real world rather than just a strict narrator where he's oblivious to everybody. He has his own story as well, which is like the books.
Right. And on top of Patrick Warburton being extremely talented, he also had the actual Lemony Snicket, Daniel Chandler, side by side all the way through. So that came to script as well. So you were seeing Daniel Chandler's image as well. And really just to pull performance out of all of the cast, a lot of that came from Daniel Chandler himself.
Yeah.
So that's why it is so accurate to the books, and that's why it's so good. But it was interesting. We got 8 episodes in the first season, which makes complete sense for a pilot season. But it was interesting the way they decided to approach the books. What we got was per book. We got 2 episodes. So we covered 4 books in the season. But where this season's gonna lack is because we've seen the first 3 on screen before. Now we have not seen Miserable Mill. But we did see A Bad Beginning, The Reptile Room, and The Wide Window within the movie, like Jim Carrey's portrayal of it. But really, I mean, you don't need to know the source material to jump into this.
No, I was a little familiar with The Bad Beginning. I read most of that, but I really did not read on. And it's weird because everything is put in front of you and you understand it. Also, with the great narration, he's explaining everything that's happening. But again, with that dark undertone, so he keeps saying this is not a happy ending. Yeah, you should probably turn this off now, to go away, look away.
Right. So exactly like the books.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is pretty much a page-for-page portrayal of the books.
Yeah.
I mean, done extremely well, and it was cool. It was cool to be able to compare the first 6 episodes to the movie. And I do think the TV series obviously stands out amongst that. Yeah. But it was really awesome seeing Miserable Mill on screen for the first time. That's actually why I'm so excited for season 2, because we haven't gotten to look at that stuff. And as the books go on, shit gets pretty serious, and it definitely starts expanding on creativity. Like, I'm talking to the degree of, like, Sunny climbing out of, like, elevator shafts with her teeth, like, to that degree. Now, that's where I'm kind of curious if they're going to keep going with that page-to-page. I mean, it's going to get tougher for them, for sure.
Yeah, but they've done a very good job so far.
Right, and their budget's probably going to shoot through the roof after this.
Yeah. Who know? Maybe they already filmed it. We don't know.
I doubt it.
I mean, if you look at, like, The Ranch, The Ranch, they only released half, and then 6 months later they released the other half. Nobody knows. Well, somebody knows. We don't. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how it continues to play out, and if they keep being that accurate to the books, which I imagine with Daniel Chandler involved, they're going to.
Yeah.
But now, one of the things that I thought was so interesting about this show in general, and standing out amongst Netflix original series as well, is the opening theme, actually. Because we were getting story every single time in that opening theme. You decided, a lot of people don't pay attention to opening theme songs, but it's changed its lyrics every time.
Yeah, usually Netflix, they have some algorithm that picks out the theme song and will skip it for you. But it didn't in this case, because it is different every... I believe each book is the same, but then every book, so every 2 episodes, it's a different intro and explains exactly what's going on, and even giving you some of the scenes in that opening sequence, which I thought was really, really creative. I haven't seen anything like that. Right.
It was like the opening theme song was just as important as the show itself. So that's cool. I mean, then you're getting some Easter eggs within the theme song as well, including some of the visual and audio context. So yeah, if you have seen the show and you're interested in playing it back again, pay close attention to those opening theme songs. There's definitely some hidden stuff in there. And I mean, in general, the theme song is actually pretty catchy.
Yeah.
So,
Basically, it's just like, hey, there's some messed up stuff going on. Look away. Telling you not to keep watching. But
Right.
of course, you're going to keep watching.
yeah, it does a fantastic job of setting the tone.
Yeah.
It is a dark theme, as the show is a dark theme overall. But I think a lot of it comes into subtext. We got some, like, everything tends to have a darker meaning, but a purposeful meaning.
Right.
Like every line, especially when it comes from Count Olaf.
Right.
Everything has a purpose, it seemed like, and that's one of Daniel Chandler's biggest traits. Very creative writing. Everything has a purpose, and it's very different. Even when you like read the books, I remember in the Reptile Room, reading the book. There's a page that literally every single word is ever, just ever, 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 ever. Like who else does that? That's like Daniel Chandler is just willing to take risk, and that's why it works so well going into a television show where people are willing to take such risk, you know?
Yeah.
But of course, there are some other side characters. Of course, there are different characters in every book that get established, and they do a fantastic job establishing them as well for this, including like the Quagmire triplets. Of course, we only see twins within this, and then you're getting Justice Strauss in the bad beginning. You're getting Montgomery, of course.
He did a fantastic job in that character too.
Yeah.
He was definitely someone that once you've seen the evil of Count Olaf, and now you get this new guardian, and he's really nice and really happy. You really latch on to him, even though it's only for one episode.
Right. And then who also did fantastic, Aunt Josephine was fantastic as well, because this is such an odd character, but established extremely well, and it's just such a weird character. I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, done very well. Another thing that was interesting to me, seeing it in the television show and not really mentioned much in the books, especially at first anyway, not mentioned in the books, was the parents, played by Will Arnett and Kobe Smulders. Pretty great. I mean, when they're powerful, when on screen, but not on screen that much.
Yes, and I wasn't really familiar with the source material, and when it turns out, I mean, this is a spoiler review, obviously. Turns out they are not the parents of the Baudelaires.
Right.
That really, it made sense, and it really threw me for a loop.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things. That's something you don't find out till way later when you actually read the books.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that they toss it at you right away. But like I said, their screen time is limited, short but effective ultimately. Now let's go into the constant breaking of the fourth wall, whether that's coming from the narrator, whether that's coming from, I mean, it happens a lot, and that's creative.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see. You have lines like, have you learned anything this week, year, season, whatever you call it?
Yeah, it was really funny when I believe it was Count Olaf said that. Haven't you learned anything this year, season? Whatever you call it, like getting at TV show season.
Right.
And then I believe it was in the Reptile Room when they went and saw a movie. It was just like, why would I want to go to a movie theater when I can enjoy everything from the comfort of my own home? And he looks right at the camera while he says that.
Right.
With no commercials and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when the most humorous times, it seems like when they want to step away from that dark humor and get out of that thematic zone, they break the fourth wall in order to show that they're doing exactly that.
Yes.
I mean, that's the legitimate breaking the fourth wall. Of course, Lemmy Snicket is doing it throughout the entire series, if you consider that breaking the fourth wall. But since he is an on-screen narrator, he is doing exactly that. But it is much more interesting having him on screen, of course, breaking that fourth wall.
Yeah.
So let's go on to the last song we get. I mean, how do you feel about it?
I mean, so after the events of the mill, everybody's getting their own point in the song. Count Olaf is back at his house. It's a pretty upbeat song, and then you listen to the lyrics, and it's like, oh, it's really messed up.
Right.
Really messed up. And everybody gets their own turn of singing, even the Baudelaire children. And I was just sitting there listening to it, and I had my jaw was just dropped. I was like, wow, perfect ending to the season. It's just as dark as the rest of the series with a happy, upbeat song. but the lyrics were very, very dark.
Right. It's even Daniel Chandler even did that in the books. It's the point is like, all right, it gives you this visual context like, oh, everything's okay. We're fine. Everything's back to normal. We're going to get through this. But there's always some underlying tone there that's saying they're still screwed. Like, this is still a bad thing. And that's going to continue throughout the series.
I mean, yeah, even Lemony Snicket, the narrator, said, unfortunately, this is not what happens. It's really bad, so look away.
Right.
And then we get it back into it.
Yeah, Daniel Chandler loves doing that.
Yeah.
He loves giving you this really, really happy scenario. Be like, it's too bad that's not actually what happened at all.
Yeah, I like stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, season 1, 8 episodes, fantastic. Everyone loves it.
Yeah. And 2 days later, they confirmed season 2.
Exactly.
It was confirmed. And yes, it was a Netflix show, so of course it's going to get renewed. You got to tell the whole story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would have been so pissed
if they would have just
what
do you guys think? And then like 2 years later, we might get it again. But yeah, I think it was expected, but still excited.
Yeah, season 2 is absolutely confirmed with books 5 through 9 coming in season 2, and then of course books 10 through 13 coming in season 3. Now, what I'm curious about is because usually your pilot episode is a short run of 6 to 8 episodes, and then you should jump to about 12 to 13 or 12 to 14 in your ongoing seasons, even jumping as high as 16. Now, if Netflix usually doesn't jump too high, but there's a chance we see a jump in episode number, okay?
Maybe a 12 episode season instead of an 8, maybe a 13.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like so far what they've done with season 1 is perfectly. They didn't stretch out the story any more than it needed to be. It just fit perfectly within those episodes. 2 episodes per book.
Well, I think it seems okay. They're doing 2 parts again, which I hope they're doing 2 parts. I think 2 parts works the best. We're looking at a 10 episode season.
Yeah. Some of those episodes, though. I believe it was episode 1 was 43 minutes. Episode 2 was an hour and 5 minutes.
Right.
Then the rest were pretty solid on 45. But I wonder if they could have, split that up in between the first and the second episode, made them both 50 minutes. Who knows? Maybe some of the books have to be 2 hour-long episodes.
Yeah, especially when you start getting to 7, 8, 9, shit starts getting pretty complicated.
Yeah.
So I imagine you'd have to lengthen those out some. You're guaranteed at least a 10 episode season in season 2. It'd be interesting to see if they take it longer than that.
Yeah.
But all around, it sits at season 1 of a series of unfortunate events sits at an 8.3 on IMDb and a 93% Rotten Tomatoes. Personally, what do we think? Out of 5 little baby Sunnies, Nick, what are you thinking?
I think I'm gonna have to give it I'm giving it a 4.5. There really was nothing that I hated. Again, Mr. Poe was a little annoying to me at times, but all in all, it was just Netflix hits it out of the park again. It was very well done. Yeah,
I'm gonna say a 4.5 as well. A series of unfortunate events to me is right there with Stranger Things, up to being the best Netflix show of all time. And it's so creative. It's so well written. Yeah, of course, you got Mr. Poe being a little obnoxious at times, but of course, it's nothing that takes away from any of their main cast. Right. Mr. Poe's there at a limited time anyway. So your top 4 build cast members are fantastic.
Yes,
and it's so well written. It's absolutely, that's definitely the best part. Well written, creative. And extremely accurate to the books.
And you don't need to know the books. That's another thing. If you make a show that, you have to read the books first, you're going to lose a lot of your target audience. They made it in such a way that you don't have to read the books. Like me, I didn't read all the books, but I can fully understand what's going on. I can get attached to these characters, and it's very, very well done.
Right. It truly is. If you haven't seen it, make sure you do. If you have seen it, tell us what you think.
Yeah.
Hopefully you liked it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And, of course, if you want to stay up to date, make sure you head over to our Facebook at facebook.com/RJ. Facebook.com/RGL Productions, and Twitter.com/RGL_Productions. And of course, if you really want to stay up to date with Slash and Cast and all things RGL Productions, head over to rjlproductions.net. There you can join our email notification list. It's as simple as writing the email in, click and notify me, and just like that, we'll email you anytime a new episode comes out or new products are added to our page. Simple as that. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.